Back at it again. Clean breakthrough. Powered by Greenville Transitions. Cold is out today, but I've got Lucas here. We've got a special episode. We're going to try something a little different today, and it's going to be a media episode. And this is something that me and Lucas and Cole decided to try to mix in here with other episodes of Clean Breakthrough. And what we're going to do with media is like pick songs, pick shows, movies, anything that maybe speaks on addiction or stands out with addictive behavior, substance use disorder. And we're going to try to like break it down and expand on it. Did I cover that well, Lucas?
Yeah, that's it.
Cool. So today we have a special episode from Euphoria, which was an HBO show, which I think did one of the best jobs of any show I've ever seen of capturing like what addiction can look like, what withdrawal can look like, what, just so many different components of addiction can be. What do you think? You've seen all of Euphoria, right?
Yeah, and I like it a lot. I think it's pretty gritty as far as like showing drug addiction. I will say I think sometimes it can be a little bit sensationalized. Maybe not in like the addiction, but just that these are all like high schoolers and just that it's insane in every corner of this high school, at least that they show in the show. But I do think there's really, really good little pockets and moments in it that just accurately reflect what it can really be like.
Yeah. Okay, well, we are going to get into an episode from season 2, episode 5. I'm going to apologize in advance for the language. It does have some serious F-bombs in there that are dropped pretty regularly. However, if you have any experience with a child or someone in your life struggling with substance use disorder or addiction, this might not be a new concept or new thing to you, because we're not at our best when we're at our lowest, and language and the I hate yous and the you'll never be a mother to me, all that stuff really tends to flare up when you're at that low point.
Yeah, shouldn't be surprising if you've been through it.
Yeah.
You've probably been called all these things too.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen here. And what we'll do, we'll play like a few seconds at a time, pause it, break it down. All right, so here we go.
Fucking weed? Is that what the fuck we're doing now?
But I didn't rat
I
you
know I never
out.
should have fucking trusted you.
What is she talking about?
Wait, were you doing drugs with Gia?
No. What? Rue, I didn't say
Then how the fuck did she know? What is she
Gia,
talking
you
about?
knew
this. You knew she was doing drugs.
It's not like that.
Okay, you know what? If you want to fucking consider smoking some weed to help with my fucking panic attacks, doing drugs, then yeah, sure, whatever. I was doing fucking drugs.
Okay, and maybe we should tell a little bit about what was going on right before this scene started. But it was the mom trying to force her daughter to go to treatment. So mom is saying, hey, we this is your intervention. It's just mom doing it. There was no professional there, but she was saying you're going to get help. And then the first thing Rue does, which is the main character, she's the one screaming, is she starts to minimize. Wouldn't you say? She's like minimizing the problem there.
Yeah, it's just weed. It's not a big deal, especially when there's been other drugs on the table before. I think it's easy to make it relative, and say, well, at least I'm not doing pills. At least I'm not doing heroin. But sometimes I've heard it where that's never been on the table, but then it's just that other people are doing that. Well, other people I know are doing heroin. You should be glad I'm not doing heroin. There's a super funny scene. It wouldn't be enough to react to, but in The Sopranos, where the daughter Meadow she throws a party at her grandma's house and it gets trashed, and I think like a girl overdoses and all this stuff. And when the parents are starting to like give her grief when she gets home, she's like, I could have taken ecstasy tonight and I didn't. As she like storms off, and it's just like, oh, you're like doing me a big favor to not do ecstasy. Like I thought that was maybe just a given. So I think sometimes it can kind of be like that of like, other people do this, but for her, I think she's had the opiate pill problem, and so now she's minimizing with the weed. But the thing that sticks out more to me is just the collateral damage of siblings getting caught between like keeping the secret for the sister and then telling on the sister to the mom, and probably both of those being somewhat unreasonable for what I don't know how old she is in this show, maybe like 14 or 15, but I feel like a little young to be held that responsible to either of them. In the mom's instance, for kind of control and figuring it out, and like, you're supposed to be my eyes and ears and tell me when there's stuff going on. And then for the sister to be, like her secret keeper, don't tell mom. I just think that's a ton of pressure for a sibling. And so you get into recovery and you find out your siblings have some resentments against you. It's normally no surprise to me.
Yeah. One more big thing that stands out to me is the escalation. The voices are getting higher. They're escalating. They're probably not at their height. I think they're going to escalate from here, but it's already setting the tone of like, you're crazy. No, smoking weed isn't crazy. You're the one that's crazy. I don't need help. You need help. So she's certainly starting to like escalate it and try to gaslight, I would say.
Yeah. And already storming off.
Yeah.
She's already left the room. It's just abandoned it while screaming, which is kind of putting out the spikes, of like, don't chase me, don't follow me, don't say anything, or I'm going to keep escalating this.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the next little bit.
Get fucking break.
You knew.
Don't slam my door.
Mom, please tell her I didn't say anything.
You guys chill the fuck out. It's just weed. I'm talking about weed, Rue. I'm talking about pills.
When did you start doing pills?
I did. I fucking didn't.
I told you.
Gia.
I thought it wasn't a good idea.
Gia, please. Let me handle this. Go to your room.
Fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it. If you want to drug test me, let's just do it. I don't want to drug test you.
Okay, so then what?
You just want to fucking accuse me of shit?
I'm not accusing you, baby, okay? But
You're
I
so
know.
fucking sure. Let's do it. Come on. Let's go. Let's fucking drug test me. Jules told me everything.
Love that.
Yeah.
I
Go
think,
ahead.
just you want to drug test me. Probably her knowing that her mom doesn't have a drug test, but to just show that like she's ready for it and it's not a big deal because she's not on drugs and you're crazy, like just continuing the gaslighting. But I've noticed normally people are only that confident when they know kind of they can't be caught, but then you just see her face when she's like, Jules told me everything, who's her best friend in the show. And then it's like kind of that moment where you're like, I can't defend this, make stuff up, gaslight. I'm kind of busted. Like, because what does she say now? Oh, well, my best friend's a liar and she has no idea what she's talking about. Like, there's just always that moment where there's enough evidence that we're no longer in like the court of law where you can dispute stuff and tear witnesses down or whatever. It's kind of just out there and done.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure she was collecting urine from Jules, from her friend who wasn't using drugs, so that she could have clean pee. So if she were saying, you want to drug test me right now. I mean, she probably had a plan of like, well, I've got clean pee under the cabinet in the bathroom. I'm not going to let my mom come in there with me while I pee. I'll make her feel like that's crazy to watch me. So I'm pretty sure she even had a backup plan if her mom was like, okay, yeah, pee.
And we've had tons of experience with that in 8 years of running a sober living, of just the things people will say when, they're kind of caught and there's nowhere to go, and the lies and the escalation and the I'll pee right now, no problem. And, things called wizinators that are like fake penises that you can hold. There's just so much to all that. That's a lot to weed through, and you got to be pretty confident in what you know and what you saw and your gut and all that to press on, because sometimes people can make you feel really crazy. And that's the goal, is for me to feel so crazy and bad that I'm just like, God, I'm just accusing this guy for no reason and I must be off, and I just got to back off. Because I mean, the last thing I want to do is falsely accuse somebody who's in recovery actively of getting high and you know, I mean, that's just a big accusation and one that I don't take lightly.
Yeah. And these days, you don't even need a friend to pee in a cup for you. They sell it at gas stations or smoke shops. You can buy fake pee. Pro tip out there, though, is always check the temperature. Most urine cups have like a temp gauge on them, so you can check to see if the liquid in the cup is actual body temperature, like 92 degrees or something like that.
Should I tell that story real quick?
Sure.
We had a guy, and I love telling the story because this guy got sober after this incident, got right back into recovery, and is now coming up on 5 years sober. So really good end goal. But we suspected that he was high. We kept drug testing him. We tried to make them more and more sporadic and random. And he just kept passing, or he would have the perfect outs for like what he had to do to get out of it. And so finally I was like, you know what? I'm going to show up over there at like 6 a.m. and wake him up out of bed to drug test him. And I know this can sound crazy. But I do that. So he's like in his boxers. So I'm thinking, okay, there's no fake pee to have. He wouldn't have enough time to warm it up. Like, this would be crazy if he does it. Still, somehow this guy did something, because he goes to take the drug test. Everything looks normal to me. We go into the kitchen and I look at that temperature gauge and I see that it just doesn't flag anything. So it must be like ice cold. It's not even like it's kind of warm. And I see that and I ask him about it, like, oh, what do you think's up with this temperature gauge? He said, I don't know. That's crazy, man. I mean, it must be a malfunctioning test. So again, we're starting with the gaslighting of like, I'm crazy. The test must be messed up, whatever. I was like, dang, well, I guess we'll have to go do another test. I was like, but first, I mean, let me just check. And so I open the pee container and I maintain eye contact with him the whole time. And I just stick my finger into the cup and feel that it's ice cold as I'm looking at him. And I just watch him crumble on the inside, just knowing that he's busted. I was like, man, it's ice cold. That's really, really concerning. And he was like, I don't know, man. That's weird. Like, I definitely just peed that. So he's still sticking with it. And I just stuck my finger in his urine that's cold. And so we went to go get, I was like, well, we'll have to go do another test, I guess, because I'm just thinking this guy's got to crack at some point here, but I'll just keep giving him the benefit of the doubt and let it sound crazier and crazier. And so we go to head back over to the main sober living house to get another cup. And by the time we get there, he's in tears and admits it all. And I want to do something different. He goes to detox, comes back through our program a second time, and has been sober for, again, coming up on 5 years, married, just had his first kid. Like, best story ever, but just a really funny origin to this second time around.
Yeah. Hope you washed your hands after.
Yes, I definitely did. But I just knew that'd push it far enough to where it's like, no, I felt it with my fingers. Like, tell me that it's just the reading messed up, because now I just caught you in a lie immediately that it's a malfunctioning test. No, it's not. It's cold.
Imagine what was going through his head. That psychopath just touched my this.
Oh, yeah. I've heard him in 12-step meetings tell the story. It's funny from his perspective of just like what's going through his head and how crazy it was. And just like, this guy's a menace. He just stuck his fingers in my pee. I can't compete with this. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Oh,
So but that's just the same thing of like the craziness, the gaslighting, the making me feel like, you know, things, my reality is not what I think it is. That sometimes tests, I've never had a temperature strip not work. And I cannot tell you probably thousands of drug tests that I've personally overseen. I've never seen a temperature strip not work. It's like the most basic piece of technology there could be. So just funny. What we try.
For sure. All right. Well, let's see what she's got to say about Jules spilling the beans here. And again, Jules is Rue's best friend. So she just freed her sister. Now we know the sister didn't rat on her. It was her best friend. Here we
My
go.
guess is she's about to attack the witness.
Yeah.
What did you do, Mom?
Fuck me. What did you do, Mom?
Me, okay?
Please,
What is
it's
he
gonna
doing
be
with the
okay.
fucking suitcase? What
It's
is
gonna
he
be
doing with the
okay,
fucking suitcase?
baby. It's gonna be okay.
No, it's not gonna be fucking okay. You don't know. Fuck. It wasn't mine.
Then whose is it?
Fuck.
Huh? Okay, look. We can go to the hospital, okay?
I'm not
We
going
can
to
take
a
you
fucking
to the
hospital if you call.
Look, we can do the withdrawal thing again,
Don't
baby.
call
It's okay.
the fucking hospital. If you try to put me in a fucking hospital, I swear to God, we're gonna have a problem.
Rue, no, you're out of control.
Put the fucking phone down. Where did you put it? Where'd you put my pills, Mom? Where did you put it?
My way. I'm calling the police.
No, you can't. You can't do that.
You will not attack me in my own home.
home. I raised you.
That's a good stopping point.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, so it's getting aggressive. Hands on. Cops are being threatened. Can't remember what the drugs were in this. Like if they really did belong to someone else, or if she were making that up.
I think that it did. I think she like stole it. Maybe it was something where there's kind of higher stakes because it's a suitcase. It's not a I don't know, a handbag
Or she was holding them for someone.
something like that.
I think you're right too. It was higher stakes here, but quick story. Like I can also remember like lying about that to my mom. I'm pretty sure I even convinced my mom to give me more money to go get drugs because I told her the drugs that had just gotten stolen or flushed down the toilet didn't belong to me. And I would like be put in harm's way if I couldn't replenish those.
Mm-hmm.
So I certainly made stories like that up to get more money and get my fix. But I do think it was factual in this scenario.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm sure some of it also is just that it was, I think she's using those drugs too. So it's kind of both. And I think she stole the drugs from her friend. His name's Froggy or something, but that he is a drug dealer, but he's also her friend. So I don't know that. I just can't remember what the stakes were, but I totally agree that people can kind of make stuff up and dramatize. And I remember having the same instance where one time my mom found heroin and I think she flushed it down the toilet or took it or something, and just the rage that I felt and just totally whacked out and just acting crazy. And another one that has like kind of a funnier twist to it. I just got out of the shower, and that's where I think I did it. Got into the shower, so the drugs were in the bathroom with me. I think she went into the bathroom while I was in the shower, grabbed them, flushed them, and I ran downstairs in my towel, just like raging out. And I remember I just in like a fit went to grab the refrigerator door, and the handle snapped off. And then like He-Man, I like stuck it up into the ceiling and it went through the sheetrock. And at the moment that it went through the sheetrock, my towel dropped. And I'm like in my parents' kitchen and my siblings are around. And just like the rage and the justification that I felt, but then just how absurd that moment is from the outside looking in, of just like, this guy is a psycho. Like now it's like towels falling and he's naked in the middle of the kitchen. He just stuck the refrigerator handle through the ceiling, like just insanity. And just how quickly it went there. I mean, that was probably a 30-second time span that it went from me taking a shower, no problem in the world, to downstairs terrifying everyone in my family and sticking refrigerator handle through the ceiling as I exposed myself.
Yeah. To defend that a little bit though, it's like, because without it, like you're about to have a really hard time. You're about to be really sick, like mentally, physically. Your body is about to go through some really hard stuff, some serious withdrawals. And it's why that panic and that chaos sets in. It's like the alarm bells are ringing in your head of like, you better cause a scene and do whatever you need to do to get your fix.
And in that stage of it, you know, some people maybe have jobs and they're working for their drugs. Because if I could just go buy more, I'd just go buy more. But a lot of times I had to do so much to get drugs. I had to steal money from this person and lie to this person and sneak the ATM card over here to, you know, like it was stuff that I couldn't just do at will whenever I wanted and just go get more. And then I didn't drive at the time because my license has been suspended. So I had to wait on the drug dealer for 4 hours and ride my bike over here to meet them. And hopefully they even answered. And just so many things to where it's like, it's not like I can just go get more drugs immediately. And I think that's to your point where a lot of that really just fear comes from, that then comes out as anger.
Yeah. The guy's name, the drug dealer's name in the show is Fez.
Fez,
Yeah. His name was Fezco, but they all called him Fez,
not for
which ironically passed away from a drug overdose after filming the last season that they did.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like I was going to say one more thing. Oh, I would also say, or another piece of advice I would give is don't threaten anything if you're not willing to follow through. Like mom starting to threaten calling the cops, or I think she throws out some other threats. And it's almost the same as a toddler of like, don't threaten, we're going to leave the park if you don't straighten up. And then you're not willing to follow through with that. And like, get your kid off the playground and leave the park. You need to be able to follow through with whatever you threaten, whether it's calling the cops or reporting your car stolen or reporting your wallet stolen if they stole your wallet. But like, if you're going to start throwing out some serious threats, make sure you have the guts to follow through with those.
And the hope is always that whenever I'm working with parents with a guy in our program, my hope is always that the threat will be enough, but the threat has to be something that you'll actually do if it comes down to it. But the hope is that it won't come down to it. And just the threat alone, they're like, it's not worth it to leave with this car if they're going to report it stolen, or if I steal this money that they're going to call the cops on me or whatever. Like, you never hope that it comes to that, just so we don't sound sick to parents that we want that to happen. We never do.
Yeah. But it gets way worse if they call your bluff and they were like, well, I'm taking her car anyway. She's not going to do anything. And then you don't do anything. You just like put a stamp on everything to them that like, okay, I can get away with whatever I want to get away with. And it's going to be worse the next time I come around.
Yeah.
Like just, I don't mean to sound sick, but we also don't want it to get worse, and it will escalate. The more that they know they can get away with, you give them an inch, we take a mile.
And if you stick to your word on the small stuff, you don't ever have to even really get to the big stuff. By the time you even threaten, like, I'm going to call the cops, they know that you're serious because you do all the things that you say you're going to do, rather than, so in that case, probably the threat alone would be enough, versus if you never follow through on your threats of what you're going to do or the boundaries you're going to put down, then by the time you do get to the big one of like, I'm going to report the car stolen, they're going to ride off with the car and be like, no, you're not. And then when you actually do, now it is them going to jail, and the threat will never be enough.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have, because they don't believe it. Yeah. And for good reason, because if you do that, you've never stuck to it. So why would they believe it?
Yep. All right. Let's see where we go from here.
Okay? And you do not fucking scare me. You're not a good person, Rue. You smiling? Really? You're proud of that?
Yeah, it's a shame, Mom. My dad's dead. It keeps you from admitting what shit fucking mother you are. Oh, poor Leslie. Her daughter's an addict, but her dad did die.
You hear that, Gia? You hear that? I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but you're probably going to have to be a fucking neurosurgeon or maybe an astronaut, because if not, then mom is 0 for fucking 2, and that means that it might actually just be her fucking fault. Yeah, that means maybe she actually fucked up.
Okay.
Woof.
Taking it up a notch.
Yeah, the first thing that the mom said when we started it back of like, you're not a good person, has to be one of the hardest things to say to your child, to someone that you gave birth to. But she immediately takes that. She doesn't take accountability. She doesn't turn that inward. She immediately takes it and turns it on like, well, my dad is dead. You're not a good mother. And then the way I see this is like now she's trying to rope her sister into it to get some type of validation. Like she knows she's backed into a corner and she's just hoping she can talk anyone into taking her side.
Yeah, no accountability, but also you notice she doesn't dispute the charge.
Yeah.
She's not a good person. The justifications are that she's not a good person because her mom's a bad mother and because her dad died. And so it's interesting that she doesn't dispute it. She kind of knows that. And I don't really believe that addicts are not good people. I mean, I think they're just, I don't even like the good people, bad people monikers. I think that it's a lot more gray than that, but probably a decent person who just does really bad things and messed up things to get drugs and to keep doing that. So it's unfortunate when it comes across that way. But yeah, to anyone looking from the outside, they'd be like, that is not a good person. That's a scary person. That's a mean person. It's a nasty person. The stuff they're saying to their mom. I mean, it's jarring.
Yeah. And it's just such a selfish, self-seeking person.
Mm-hmm.
Like what Rue is in this or what I was before I got clean and sober. It was a person that is not worried about anyone else but himself and like what I need to survive. And that's what it is. When you get to this point of addiction, I mean, it's about survival. It's about, getting that fix before you get sick again.
It was explained to me in like a neurobiology thing one time when I was in treatment. I don't know if it's changed since then, but they were saying that addiction affects the same part of the brain, like the lizard part of your brain in the back, that's survival. And so it would be literally the same as like if you were starving. Would you steal for food? Would you lie for food? Would you yell at someone for food if you knew you were going to die? So it's like your brain thinks it's actually needed for survival, not just to feel good or be high or whatever. And that's where I think the behavior can make a lot more sense, that like if I was about to die of thirst, die of hunger, die in the snow, what would I do? Would I kill? Would I hit? Would I say mean things? I mean, most people, your body would just take over. You'd do whatever you had to do to survive.
Yeah. You ready to start it back up?
Rip it.
Be
Enough,
fucking
Rue.
honest.
That's enough.
Don't fucking touch me. Don't fucking touch me. You want to hit me? Shut the
Do it.
fuck up. I know you want to hit me. With me. You can fucking touch her. Get out. Get the fuck out of here. Shut the fuck up. Where's the fucking pickles? What did you do? Didn't tell me what to do with my fucking life, huh? You want to tell me to stop doing drugs?
All right, we're going into like rage mode there, turning into the Hulk. Did you have any experience with that?
Yeah, I think I told my one story a little too early, but refrigerator handle off the door into the ceiling. Yeah, definitely plenty of stuff like this in my life. Not getting my way and just raging out. But also funny from where we started of like, I'm not doing drugs. I'm just smoking a little weed. It's not a big deal. It's like, seems like something is going on that is a very big deal. Now, like, you got to play it cool like that the whole way. You can't start raging out and getting crazy because people who just smoke a little weed here and there don't do that. You know, so it's just funny how quickly that got thrown out the window.
Yeah, I can relate to this a lot. This is hard to watch, honestly, for me. I mean, I relate to it on such a deep level of, punching holes in walls and just trying to escalate everything to get my mom. And it was always my mom that I was trying to get to realize like how bad off I am and how much I need these things to get by. So I would often turn to violence, not towards her, but like towards like punching holes in the wall or tearing a door down, kicking a door in like she's doing, or threatening my life. I use that a lot. I can remember vividly going out to, we had like a shared family pond down in South Georgia. And I was like, called my mom out there one day, just having a breakdown. I was sick. I was going through withdrawals. And I was like threatening to go drown myself in the pond. But like always throwing out threats like that, just to manipulate her into realizing like this is all so much worse than you can even imagine, and this is why I need you to jump on board with me getting high.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to play the last little bit here.
What the fuck else am I supposed to do, huh? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to fucking do? Please. This is your fucking fault. You don't fucking recognize me. I don't fucking recognize me either.
She kind of said it. She said, "You don't recognize me. I don't recognize me either."
Mm,
That is so true.
because it is like that person is kind of lost. The person that inside, I mean, that's her mom. So she's known her since she was a baby, 2 years old, 5 years old, 7 years old, 10 years old. Like all these milestones of, I'm sure, her largely sweet little girl who's fun and loving and has friends and does things with family and all the values that come with that. And then this is somebody else, that's
Yeah.
unrecognizable.
If I had to pick a phrase that I hear more than anything else when I'm on the phone with parents who are like considering putting their son in our program, or their son's been in our program for a while, one singular phrase that I hear the most is probably, "I just want my son back." It's either he really is a good kid, so they're already trying to convince me on the front end, like, "Hey, don't take him for who he is right now. He really is a good kid." And the other one is, I just want my son back. This is not him. This isn't my son. I want the old insert name here back."
But that's not just removing the drugs or the alcohol. Like that's the tough part, is that the drugs, the alcohol, the period in addiction, whether it's a year, 5 years, 20 years, may only correlate to the severity of it. But I feel like you take the drugs and alcohol away, and that kind of not a good person, like she said, is still there until like now they have to do all this, just like reconnecting with their values and their morals and the person that they want to be, because they've just they've been that person for long enough now that you don't shake that just from putting the drugs and alcohol down. I wish that you did. It'd make our jobs a hell of a lot easier, if it was just, yeah, we're going to take them off drugs and alcohol for a week, and as soon as they're off of it, they're just going to be back to the person that you knew. They're going to be a great person. But I just don't think you can lie, steal, be selfish, manipulate, all these negative characteristics that can come with addiction. And not everyone has all of them, right? I mean, there's some people who quietly use by themselves to a really bad extent, but have a job that, hasn't fired them and can pay for it, whatever it may be. So it's not always the case, but in most cases, there's a lot of those values and morals that get pretty skewed, and it takes a lot of work to get them back on track.
Yeah. So I had to, that was the end of that scene on YouTube, but I switched back over to the other one. Do you want to see where it goes from there, or do you think that was where it got too unrealistic for you, where she flipped that quick and started apologizing?
Oh, I thought that part was kind of unrealistic to me.
Yeah.
And that's just projection. But from what I normally see, I just don't see people turn around that quick and say, "I'm so sorry. I can't believe I've done this." Normally there's so much like shame and guilt from what I just did that to me, it's more often fleeing. And like, if it's, fight or flight, it's flight. I'm going to get the hell out of there. And because, I don't want to face the people that I just did all that stuff to.
Yeah.
30 seconds later, like, I'm just so sorry. And not to say that can't happen or it doesn't happen. I
think that I've done that before. I was that quick to like, I knew that I just messed up really bad and I was backed into the corner and there was nowhere to go. So I at least had to, but it also speaks to just how chaotic, like how much of a roller coaster it is, the ups and downs of it, I don't know what's going on. My body, my brain is just so off kilter right now while I'm trying to fight for my life, pretty much is what it feels like, that I felt every emotion. So it went from like defensive to anger to a step above anger to rage to like extreme sadness of like, because in those moments I would catch glimpses of like, I am a slave to this. Like David's not in control. Just like in this video, Rue's not in control. There is someone else behind the wheel there, and it's not her. And she admitted it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it just requires a level of awareness that I personally can't relate to. I would have fought that. I mean, I fought that through every treatment, through every sober living, and even into the treatment that led me to this period of sobriety. You know, that it was like, even still halfway through, it was like, no, y'all still don't get it. Like, drugs aren't the problem. So even at that point, I didn't have the awareness, let alone after a freak out like that. The other thing that was interesting to me is just that was probably like a 5-minute video, maybe less.
Yeah.
And so just the chaos, the roller coaster, the destruction, the words hurled, the attacks, the insults. I mean, all that in like 4 minutes is wild. And that's, I mean, another thing it made me think is why we do therapy with the families that we work with too. And sometimes even siblings and or significant others when it fits, because it's just like, God, how could you live through that and not need to process that or go through it of like just that cyclone that comes through your family and your home? I mean, I feel like you'd have PTSD. That mom was like,
my mom had to be medicated.
Yeah, she was like shielding her other daughter from Rue, you know, so she didn't physically attack her as they're just like weeping on a couch as their house just got half destroyed. And you're just like, that's crazy. That is crazy, crazy. So wild. So yeah, I think everybody needs help to get past that. Not just Rue, but the mom and the sister too. Because that's heavy stuff, especially the sister. She's got to be 15 or something there. And she also lost her dad.
Yeah.
You know?
And the mom lost her husband.
Yeah.
The other caretaker
Mm-hmm.
in that household. The other income in that household. Like it's hard for everyone. But again, like we just get to such a selfish place where you're a horse with blinders. Like you can't see or feel or think about any of that.
Yeah.
What's going on for someone else.
No, the tunnel vision is real. Just me, my problems, what I need, and screw everyone else. And some of that's immaturity too, right? If you're like, I always tell parents that I'm working with that for 18 years of your life, it kind of is about you, you know, like it's the parent's job to do everything for you. It's weird. Like, where does that happen where that changes? And it's not an exact point. Parents start to do less and less for you. You start to do more and more for them. It starts to become more reciprocal, but there's no like defined line where that changes. So it just makes sense when I see, because the sister's got to be like 13 or 14 because Rue's allegedly in high school in this show, like 17 or 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're 17 or 18. I don't know. When I was 17 or 18, I wasn't thinking, gosh, that must be so hard for my mom. That must be really hard on my dad. I can't imagine how my actions are affecting others. You know, there's just such a level of immaturity there and zero empathy. And some people I think are born with more of that. Other people need to work it like a muscle. But I had zero of that at 18. I had zero of that at 25, you know? So
yeah,
thinking about others and how hard it was for them.
Yeah. Well, I picked this scene for today, for this media episode. We're going to try to throw in maybe one a month just to like switch it up a little bit, get some different kind of content. But I picked this one really for two reasons. One is just to kind of play through it and relate to it. The other one was to normalize it, because I think a lot of families can go through something like this, how much chaos was in that 4-minute clip, and feel so alone in it. And like no one else will understand what they just went through, or no one, especially like, I mean, we come from good families, you know, and we like, we're Tasmanian devils in those for brief little snippets of time. So I guess I just wanted to like normalize it a little bit and show it in a clip that, again, I think they do such a beautiful job of showing like what addiction can look like and how it can like take over a household. Because it's not just the person, it affects everyone that's in their life. So I hope that parents watch this and can see that, like, okay, my child isn't the devil, isn't a spawn of the devil.
Mhm.
This is like can be a normal thing for someone who just like happens to turn to substances for a way of coping, for a way of like disguising fear and discomfort. It can turn into this, unfortunately.
Yeah, totally agree. I think that's a really good clip for that to normalize it. You're not alone. Come on, if they made a portion of a TV show about it, that's probably not an isolated incident that's never happened to anyone. And then I would imagine so many parents and people in recovery in addiction could watch that and identify with it. Maybe not exactly, but to some extent. And that just tells you right there that this is not a unique thing when it comes to addiction or recovery. This can be actually very typical and common. But gosh, if you're just kind of a regular person who hasn't had addiction in your life and that happens, I would get feeling like my life is insane and no one else has ever, like, this is not normal and nobody knows what this is like, because I just empathize with feeling that way, because that doesn't seem normal.
Yeah.
And I was going to say for our few viewers and our even smaller amount of commenters, if there is any clip that you think would be good for us to react to or talk about, you can put it down in the comments. There's not much to weed through, so we can definitely be on top of that to see what comes through and can take suggestions and go over different things, whether it's a song or movie or TV show or something. But we're happy to do
I
that.
would even expand that into topics. If there's a topic that you want to hear about or hear a clinician expand on or someone who went through it expand on, don't hesitate to throw that down in the comments.
Yeah, we'll hunt it down and make it happen.
And of course, don't forget to subscribe.
And like,
Smash that like button, hit subscribe.
come on.
All right. Well, that's it for today. We will be back next week.
See ya.